Hey guys, welcome to today's video. So today I have a makeup video for you. I'm going to be doing a makeup routine using all drugstore makeup products. And I told you guys that this video was coming, so here it is. So I do have some new makeup here. Now this is new to me. There are a few new products that recently hit the market, but then of course you have probably heard of some of the other ones, but again, they are new to me and I haven't tried a lot of these. So this is almost going to be a first impressions type of video as well. So some of the products I have tried, some of them I have not. So let's see how they perform on the skin and let's create a drugstore makeup look. So don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell, and also don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up as well. Alright, so as you can see, I do have this beautiful tan going on, but I didn't tan my face this time around. So I'm going to be resorting to a darker foundation so that everything blends nicely together. Now for skincare, I do have all of my products on, but for cream and for my sunscreen, I'm going to share that with you because depending on the type of moisturizer and sunscreen that you use, sometimes it can change the way that your makeup looks during the day. Now for me personally, if you've been with me for a while, you guys know that I love that dewy, glowy complexion. So I like to resort to the Embryolisse cream because this is very moisturizing on the skin, but this also gives that beautiful glow as it shines through your sunscreen and your makeup. And I love this so much. This is also going to be great for fall and winter. And so if you're into that type of complexion, you will love this. And this is also a drugstore find, which is really appropriate for this type of video. Now for sunscreen, this is not a drugstore find, but this is fabulous. It's the Summer Fridays Shade Drops, the Mineral Milk Sunscreen. So this is a broad spectrum SPF 30, and this texture is like a milky serum. It's very moisturizing on the skin, and this pairs up really well with Embryolisse, and this also gives that nice glow to the skin as well. So this is what's on my face right now, but let's move on to the makeup look and let's start off with the first product. So I've zoomed you in so that you can get a closer look, and the first product that I'm going to be going in with is the new e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. I'm really excited to test this out. As you can see, I haven't even used this yet. That sticker is still on the top, and apparently this is the exact dupe to the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, and I love this. I like to mix this with my foundation. I also like to apply this before my foundation, and this gives that beautiful glow and radiance to the skin, and apparently these are the exact same. Now I did pick up two shades. I actually ordered these online. So I do have it in the shade Fair and Light, and as you can see, they are very similar in shades, very similar, but the light is slightly darker, as you can see. Now this line runs a lot warmer than the Charlotte Tilbury, so if you plan on purchasing the e.l.f., I would recommend going down a shade. So I will give you an example here. So this is Fair, and this is also Fair in the Charlotte Tilbury. And as you can see, there is quite a difference here with the two. So the Charlotte is honestly a lot lighter. So that just gives you an example there of how warm and darker this line runs. So I think for today, I'm going to mix Fair in with my foundation. So I'm going to be using the Maybelline Dream Radiant Liquid Foundation. I have this in number 60, which is Sandy Beige. And so mixing these two shades together, I think will be really nice because I don't like a really dark face. I'm going to be bronzing up my skin, and so I don't like too much color on my face. So I think this is going to be great. But if I were to mix light with my foundation, you can see that they're a little bit different in undertone. This is more warm. This looks like it's more on that neutral side. So I think I'm just going to stick with the Fair. All right, so I've just taken the sticker off of the package, and the doe foot is honestly a lot bigger than the Charlotte Tilbury. Like, that is huge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit into the palm of my hand like that, and then of course I'm going to do a few pumps of the Maybelline into the palm of my hand. So I think I'm going to do a little bit more of that filter because I didn't really get a whole lot there. There we go. And then I'm just going to mix the two in the palm of my hand like that, and then just add it to my skin. So I'm just using my damp beauty blender for this. I like to use my beauty blender for all of my foundations and CC creams. I don't apply foundation underneath my eyes. If you've been with me for a while, you guys know that. I don't like to apply too much product under my eyes because it can become cakey and I just don't like that look. So this is blending in really nicely. So far, it's giving that nice radiance to the skin. Now that foundation alone will give that nice glow. So even if you don't want to mix this with the e.l.f., you'll still get that nice complexion. And I really love how lightweight this foundation is too. It's definitely light to medium coverage and it doesn't dry out my skin. It doesn't look super oily and greasy on my skin and it lasts for a really long time. I'm actually really impressed with this foundation and I did mention that in my July-August favorites video. It's beautiful. And I don't believe it's new. Like I think it's been out for a while, but it's new to me and it's wonderful. So far so good. I'm really loving that additional glow that I'm getting with that e.l.f. product. My skin looks pretty radiant and this is definitely more glowy than what my skin would be by itself with just using that Maybelline foundation. So I'm loving this e.l.f. product and this is basically what the Charlotte Tilbury would do for my skin as well. It would give this additional dewiness and glow. So I would say it's pretty much a dupe from the experience that I'm having so far, but of course I would have to try it on its own and really compare side by side with the e.l.f. and the Charlotte, but so far I'm loving it. Moving on to concealer, I'm going to be using one by e.l.f. So this is the Hydrating Camo Concealer. As you can see, I haven't tried these yet, and I have two shades. So I have Light Sand and Fair Warm. Now if I were to compare the two, Light Warm is a little bit too light. I think this is going to look too bright and light for the under eyes, especially that I have a darker foundation. So I think I'm going to resort to Light Sand and then maybe keep this for fall and winter. So let's give this one a whirl. I've heard a lot of great things in regards to this, and yes, I am late to the game, but I do have some holy grail concealers that I like to resort to, like my Laura Mercier. These are concealers that don't crease, they keep my under eyes nice and hydrated, and I'm all about that. So I'm hoping that this is going to be comfortable, it's not going to be too cakey or heavy. Now this one also has a large doe foot, which I like. So I'm just going to apply the littlest amount. That actually might be too much, but let's just put the tiniest amount in the inner corner of the eye as well as the outer corner. I don't like to apply too much concealer because again, I don't want this to settle into fine lines and make my under eyes look worse. And I do have a blemish right here, so let's just see if we can cover that up. And I think this shade might be okay. It's a little bit more on the warmer side, but I think it's going to work. So let's just see what we can do here. A little bit goes a long way for sure. This was probably too much, but this is also my first time, so I wasn't sure how this was going to spread, but so far so good. And it is brightening up my under eyes, which is a good thing. And I'm gonna put a little bit on my eyelid. But I do have a primer, so I'm not gonna put too much concealer on the lids. But I think that looks really nice. I'm actually quite impressed with that. It gave some good coverage. I would say medium coverage, which is typically what I like to resort to. I don't like anything that is too full coverage, especially for the under eyes. So loving that this is more on that medium side. It does have that nice texture to it. It doesn't feel too heavy. So far so good, but we will see what my under eyes look like towards the end of this video because I'm actually not going to be applying any setting powder. I don't typically use setting powder. I only use it for the under eyes, but I want to see how this wears from now until I'm done my makeup look to see if it has settled into any fine lines. So stay tuned. But I'm really loving the way that that applied. That looks really nice. So let's cover up this blemish here. And it did a decent job. It's still there. It didn't cover up completely, but that's okay. I can live with that. That's pretty good. So moving on to my brows, I'm gonna be using the Maybelline Express Brow. This has an ultra slim pencil, and this is also break resistant, which is a good thing. Now I did get it in the shade Blonde, which is in 250. So let me open this up and let's give this a whirl. So we have a spoolie on one end, which is nice to brush up those hairs. And then of course the other side, we just spin this up. Okay, so this is one thing that I don't like when it comes to eyebrow pencils. This has no point on it or a beveled edge. It's literally just flat right across. So who's going to go and just go flat? It's nice to have that nice point where you can make those precise hair strokes where it can look natural. This is literally flat, like, so far I don't like that. Honestly, why would they do that? But let's just see how it works, because of course if it works, then it works. But so far, not liking that. So I'm going to lightly fill in. And okay, so there is a nice color payoff. So you can be very gentle. It's not going to be too harsh and crazy, which is a good thing. So far that looks really good. This brow is really good. I have no issues with this side, but this side, we have an issue over here because I have more of a gap in the thicker section. So let's see how well I can fill this side in. So it's working pretty well, but of course I'm not getting that nice natural hair-like stroke. It's more like just coloring in the gap at this point. All right, so considering this had a flat surface, this pencil did a really good job. I'm really pleased with how my brows look. This was very easy to use and it was very quick to use as well. The transfer was really nice. I have used a lot of high-end brow pencils before, and you really have to push hard on your skin to get that product to actually work and to fill in those sparse areas. This was very easy, and you just have to lightly touch your skin and the product was easily transferred. So I think that if you're in the market for a good brow pencil, I would consider purchasing this. I really would. This actually is better than the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pencil, and I used to use that a lot. This one is way better, it's more affordable, and my brows look really natural. And again, I have it in the shade Blonde, and I think that this is the perfect shade. When you're filling in your brows, sometimes you do want to go down a shade because sometimes the brows can look pretty dark if you go your exact color or a shade darker. So I always recommend to go down a shade if you can. But you know, so far so good. I wasn't sure at first, but I actually really like it. So now I'm going to use the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer in the shade Tan Lines, another product that I haven't used yet. The blush is also by e.l.f. So there are a few e.l.f. products in this video, and I really wanted to venture out and try a lot of their products. So we're gonna be trying this, and I'm hoping that this isn't going to be too dark. It might be okay for this time of year. And I'm going to be applying this with the Say brush. I like to use this for any type of cream-based product, especially bronzer, because it's very dense, and I just feel like this brush applies cream-based products really nicely. All right, so let's see. I didn't put too much on the brush because I'm not sure how pigmented this is. I would say it's very subtle, but I like it because if you don't want to be too dramatic with the bronzer, then at least you know that this is buildable. And I think that is really nice. Very nice. But let's add a little bit more. So it's not too warm. I would say it's that nice neutral bronzer with a smidge of warmth. So it doesn't look too muddy and it's not too on the orangey side. I think this is a great shade. Very easy to use as well, very user-friendly. So if you are new to cream-based bronzers, I would give this a go because it's very easy to use, and like I said, it's buildable. There are some creamy bronzers out there where they're super pigmented and you have to be very careful on how much you apply, but this one is very easy to use. This is definitely giving that nice natural look. I feel like this is what my face would look like if the sun were to naturally bronze my skin. This is very realistic, and there are so many bronzers out there that it just looks like you have bronzer on. Whereas with this, I just love how natural this is looking. And I wouldn't say that this is too dewy. I would say this is more of that satin finish, more of that skin-like finish. So it's not too shiny, it's not too dewy. So if that is typically not your thing, I think you will also love this. Wow, I'm really impressed with this. I really am. So let's just put a little bit on the nose here. And that is beautiful. Really pretty. So let's move on to blush. Now, when I purchased the e.l.f. filters, I also purchased these two blushes. Now, this is one of their newest launches. So this is their Luminous Putty Blush. And you guys know that I love that luminosity, so I had to try this. So one is more pink, the other one is more on that corally side. So this one is in the shade Belize, and this one is Isle de Sol. I hope I'm saying that right. Probably not. So let's try this. I get so excited with bronzers and blushes. This is honestly my favorite step in my makeup routine along with highlighter. So I'm going to apply this with the Heavenly Luxe Perfection brush by It Cosmetics. This is actually a foundation brush, but I actually like to use this to apply cream or liquid blushes because this is also very dense and it applies these types of formulations really nicely. So I'm going to use this, and of course I'm just going to grab a little bit of product because again, I don't know how pigmented this is going to be, and I'm just going to tap that on the tops of my cheeks. And I definitely need more product. There is nothing there. So let's try this again. Okay, there we go. So very sheer, another product that is very buildable, very user-friendly. So again, if you're new to cream blushes and bronzers, you may want to try this as well. I'm going to need a little bit more because when it comes to blush, I do like to be pretty generous. So I feel like I might need to do a few layers here. Very nice, very natural, but again, very sheer. I wasn't expecting that. So again, let's go back in. I'm going to really grab the product here and let's see what I get. Okay, so I'm getting more color for sure now. I feel like you would need a brush with this. I feel like if you applied it with your fingers, it may not blend as nicely, but I do like the color. I think it's very beautiful and it does give that nice glow to the skin. It's not super sparkly. Honestly, I don't even see any of the shimmer whatsoever. It just looks like my skin is wet, and I do like that look. So I do like the consistency of this. I do like the finish, but again, it just didn't apply as well as I thought. So let's try the other cheek. Okay, I do need to apply a little bit more because this side is a little bit more deeper. So let's just add a little bit more to balance it out. Okay, so that looks more balanced and even. And I think it's really nice. I really do. I can make this work. I'm going to play around with it and figure out maybe I need to use a different brush, but I just didn't like the way that it applied on that one side, but I really do like the color. This is something that I will continue to use because I think that the formulation is nice. I like the subtle glow that it's giving the skin, and it's very natural. It honestly is very natural. So a great beginner product for sure. So I'm not going to be applying any highlighter because these two products gave my skin that nice dewy finish, and I don't want to take away and I don't want to add too much. This is the perfect amount of dewiness for my liking. So loving it so far. But now let's move on to the eyes, and I have used this before and this is lovely. So this is the Milani Eyeshadow Primer. This works really well, prevents creasing, and your eyeshadows, your liners last the entire day as well as all night. So highly recommend this. So let's put a little bit on the eyelids here. So I'm just going to lightly apply that all the way up to the brow bone. So for the eyes, I'm going to be using the Revlon Color Stay Cream Eyeshadow. This is a metallic, and this is in the shade Praline. So it's like a champagne shade. Now, I have been eyeing this for quite some time. This actually reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Memorize Cream Eyeshadow. And I do have a few shades, and I do have the champagne shade from Charlotte Tilbury, and I love it so much. So of course, I had to pick it up for this video. So I haven't tried it yet. The plastic is still on it, so let's give this a go and see. So there is a brush at the top that you just slide across so you can apply the product with this. I would never use this because I like to use my finger when applying cream-based eyeshadows, so I'm not going to be using that, but I will be using my finger for this. So let's see what this is like. So it is a little bit different from Charlotte. Charlotte's cream eyeshadow is more fluffy. It's almost like a gel type of texture, whereas this is a little bit harder, but it's still very creamy. So let's see how this applies to the eyes. So I'm just going to use my ring finger and apply it. It's going on pretty nice, but it's not applying as nicely as the Charlotte. This is more of a drier formulation, so I feel like if you don't blend this in quick enough on the lids, that it would probably appear patchy. It just has that texture to it where you have to work really quickly. So that is what I'm doing here, and I am getting an even application, so far so good, but it does dry down a little bit powdery, so it almost looks like I have used a powdered eyeshadow. That's what it looks like to me. Whereas with the Charlotte, it stays creamy looking, where your eyelids look wet, and I do like that look, but this is nice too. Maybe you wouldn't experience creasing as much with this one. So I think that the color is really nice. So let's move on to the other eye. Okay, actually, you know what? This isn't too bad. This is actually quite nice. It's a great alternative, and I would say that this is a dupe to the Charlotte Tilbury, but again, the texture is a little bit different. So I think that this is nice. I will come up closer so that you can see what it looks like. It's not sticky, it's not tacky at all, and I think it looks really nice. So I'm gonna go back in with that bronzer, and I'm going to use the other side of that IT Cosmetics brush, and I'm going to apply this to the crease of the eye. So I'm just creating that natural everyday makeup look, something that's very quick and easy to do. And so far I'm loving how everything is tying together. And this bronzer is also applying quite nicely in the crease as well. I tend to do this a lot with my cream-based bronzers, but this one is working really nicely as well. So now I'm going to apply the Annabelle Kohl Eyeliner Pencil in the shade Champagne. This is going to be applied to that lower waterline. I haven't used this yet, so let's see how this performs. I really love the Makeup by Mario Brightening Pencil. That one works really well. It's very long wearing, so I'm hoping that this will be good as well because of course this is more affordable. And I have tried some e.l.f. products before in terms of liners and I had a lot of success. So let's see how this one works. Wow, okay. Okay, so I'm getting that nice transfer, but this is more on that white side, whereas the Makeup by Mario is more nude. This is more champagne, like it says, more white. But I don't feel like this one is applying as smoothly as the Makeup by Mario. It's almost looking like it's a little bit, not patchy, but it's just not as creamy, if I'm explaining that correctly. Makeup by Mario is more creamy. This one is not as, so it's almost clumping on my lashes a little bit. It's transferring onto those lashes, so it's not too bad though. I mean, it's still a good alternative, but I can just tell the difference between, you know, Makeup by Mario with this one. But you know what? This is more affordable and it does the job really well. As you can see, it brightened up my eyes just a little bit. And I feel like I can't go on with my day without putting something like this on that lower waterline because my waterline can get really red and pink, especially if I'm tired. So this really helps to brighten up that look and it makes you look more awake. So now I'm going to apply the Maybelline Green Edition Mega Mousse Mascara. This is in the shade Very Black. I think that this is a lovely one. I have been using this for quite some time. I did share this in a favorites video not too long ago. It's very long wearing. It doesn't give raccoon eyes. It's very easy to remove at the end of the day, and it doesn't crumble onto your cheeks and underneath your eyes. This is very long wearing. So I'm going to apply this right now. I'm going to speed up this section and I will see you when I'm done. I'm gonna move on to my lips now, and I'm gonna be using the Rimmel Lasting Finish Exaggerate Lip Liner. This is in the shade Rose Addiction. So we're gonna be using this. This is something new again. I haven't tried this yet, so let's see how this applies to the lips. All right, so this is really easy to apply. I actually really like this. It glides on really nice. It does have that matte finish. And I don't feel like this is gonna be drying at all. I think that this formulation is quite nice. All right, so I've just lightly filled in my lip just a little bit and then of course outline them. And I really like that. I think this is going to be a lovely shade for fall and winter. It does have that nice mauve color. So I'm gonna be using the Milani Keep It Full Nourishing Lip Plumper. I have used this many times. I have used this shade before as well. This is in Soft Rose, which is in 08. I have also used Luminoso, which is also a beautiful color. But this is perfect for that everyday look. It's nude with that mauve undertone. So I thought that this would pair up nicely with this lip liner. Alright, so this is the final makeup look. I do want to let you know that e.l.f. Under Eye Concealer is looking really nice. It's definitely a concealer that isn't super hydrating, so I do feel like if you have dry under eyes, this might accentuate some of that dryness. So you may want to use a really good primer or a really good thick eye cream beforehand, and you might want to slightly set it if you're using a nice hydrating product underneath, or you don't need to. I mean, that's completely optional. For me personally, I do think it's nice, but I feel like it is settling a little bit in this section right here. So I would need to set this with a little bit of powder, but really, I could go on with my day without it. That's just me being nitpicky, but I think it looks really nice. It gave a lot of coverage, and I really love this overall look. Loving that cream bronzer and blush. Again, the blush is a little bit patchy. I may need to use a different brush, but I do like the color. I do like the finish of it. This lip combination is also really beautiful, and I'm loving that e.l.f. filter. I think that it is very similar to Charlotte Tilbury, but again, I'm going to have to test it a little bit further, apply it all over my skin before my foundation, and really compare it. So if you would be interested in a video like that with a side-by-side comparison of the two, please let me know in the comments below and I could film that next for you. And also let me know in the comments below what type of makeup look you would like to see next. I am open and I love suggestions. Of course, I will link all of the products that I used in today's video, including shades, below for you for your reference. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And of course, I will see you all in the next one. Take care, and I will see you guys then. Bye, guys.